Hello, Governor. Hello. Episode
Hello.
8, Alex. Let's see them drinks, baby, because I know you got them.
I did have them. I had a cup of golden Yunnan tea.
Okay, that's weird.
I got it in a pack. I
Nice.
had my coffee.
Okay.
I had an LA. I've drank these all in the last hour,
Okay. You're
but
going
I still have my water for the
So,
pot.
so when you think you need to go take a piss, you want to just like, I'm
Let's
just,
just go
but-
ahead and get that out of the
yeah,
way.
yeah, but hey, but when you need to, you just go run for it, because that's what I'm doing now. I guess I just when I have to piss, I just go, oh, Alex is talking, bye, and run off.
I know people listening on Spotify don't know, but let me give you a visual representation of what's going on. So
We need.
normally Tyler has this whiteboard and all this stuff behind him. He now has a gigantic, what is that, 60-inch TV?
It's a 57 if you want to get technical.
57-inch on its side, big old Fighting Ignorance logo. Please share with us the deets about how that came to be. That's because I think it's crazy.
Dude, it's insane. I think it's people that had like I think they had a lot of money or something. They just didn't care. But we were coming home today from running some errands. We turn the corner, TV on the side of the road, whatever. Ashley says, "What's that?" And I look, and it was right beside our house, like two houses down. So I look and I stop and I see it. It's like, free, come get it. It said down at the bottom, it said, do not disturb, just take it. No cable, no remote. I was like, I'm getting this bitch.
So they did have a sign. And stuff.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't just like
No. But we parked the car at our house. I walked down there and I was like, sizing it up, you know. I'm like, we're gonna chug this thing right in. Nope. It's probably I swear to God, it's the heaviest TV I've ever picked up in my life, ever. I had to like call my giant 7-foot friend to come help me pick it up and bring it upstairs. So, dude, this thing right here it's been crazy today. Like I had to clean my room. I sawed off half of this desk in order to fit the TV there and move my computer up. I didn't even tell you that.
literally saw the desk in half.
Yes, the sawzall just fell over there. It was like over there up against the wall.
How's it still standing?
What, the TV?
No, the desk.
No, it was just like it's like an overhang part right here. I just sawed it right off.
Oh, okay. Well,
I was like, how are we gonna do this? I don't know. So I just put it there. But yeah, and what's cool is it's literally a monitor. I don't know what we can do with it, if anything, but I know I'm gonna try to like.
I was under the impression that it was just like thrown out, like
Oh yeah. Well,
onto the curb of the trash.
I mean, technically
No
it
sign,
was.
Pick me up,
I
just
mean,
trash.
Oh well, there was a sign, but pick me up, just trash. And then the guy came out there. He's like, hey man, you gonna take it? I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take it home. He's like, you want me to help? He was like, you live right there, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, you want me to help you carry it over there? So we got it to my porch. But I was like, man, why are y'all getting rid of this? And he's like, something about his dad gave it to him and he replaced it, so now it's on the curb. So I don't know. Cool addition. Beats the whiteboard.
Yeah, not bad.
All right. I told you that
I know you got some stuff.
I got two things, okay, and one of them is just something I want to say on the record, and then the other one is something that I want your input on. I'm gathering it all. Okay, so the first thing, this is just the thing that I have to just tell you about, and this is something that this is something that people can take with them, and they can like, I guess, kind of apply what I did to this, to this situation if they ever get in it. The Beirut explosion, terrible, insane. Like, you saw footage, crazy, dude.
I just saw last night. My buddy was like, "Holy shit, dude! Look at this!" It was like midnight last night. I was like, "Okay, you know, a building's on fire," and then boom!
Yes. Like, I was sitting there watching. I was like, "Damn, man, that's a big old fire." I'm seeing fireworks. I'm like, "Yeah, that's fireworks." And I was like, "Whoa!" Like, me and all of my friends, we were all just sitting watching. We were like, "Oh!" Like it sucked something out from us. Like, seriously. Like, it's so massive.
Mushroom cloud. You see that shockwave ring?
Yes. Insane.
That smoke ring.
Yes. Crazy. Okay. So that happened, right? Maybe 4 hours after, one of my friends shared a news article about it. A Western media news article. Okay. So take that how you will. I have to say that because it applies.
Yeah, 4 hours later, no one said anything about it.
Right.
But we already have the news speculating.
Right. But
spreading
hey, and listen, what you just said, speculating and spreading misinformation. That's what I don't think happened. Listen, when somebody comes to me and they're like, "Yo, I'm trying to look something up, but I can't find it," and I'm also kind of worried that I might get some like propaganda or I might get some shit that's censored, and I don't want to do that. So what do I do? And people will be like, go to DuckDuckGo and search stuff. That's very applicable. But when it comes...
I've never used DuckDuckGo.
Well, don't. It has its flaws, just like every other search engine. But mainstream media is good for certain things. It's good for fact-checking yourself, first and foremost, I feel like. It's also good for getting state news. It's also good for getting generally, like... if you want to know details on Ghislaine Maxwell's case right now, you may have to dig a little bit around a couple news organizations, but you can go to CNN and get the gist. It's not like every single word's fakeness. Okay. So with that being said, the 3 hours later, I saw someone share the post and they were discussing it in the post. 3 hours later, they mentioned how there were 27 deaths accounted for, and then I think they said 500 plus injured, okay? And now I'm going to go into quote mode. Quote mode. Here we go. Now it's a summary a little bit. The guy said, "Man, why are they telling people 27 deaths? That's misinformation. They shouldn't be doing that shit." I said, "Dude, what do you mean? How do you think that that's misinformation?" He said he's deleted it since, so I can't go back and get it, or I would read it word for word. But he said something along the lines of, "Well, it seems like, they'd just wait and get all the facts and then let everybody know." I said, what the fuck are they supposed to do? See an explosion, say, "Hey, I think we got about 500 dead. Maybe 1,000 injured? Don't know. We'll see. We'll check on it later." Or I don't even know what... There's a problem. There's a problem going on right now. And it's the people that think they're woke. And they're thinking that they're spreading the right rhetoric with "be skeptical of Western media." He said that he saw an outlet in Western media that already has reported over 500 deaths. I asked him to please link me to that so that I'm just a little person, but I would message the news organization and tell them that they're wrong, because that's just wrong. If you wanted to go over to Twitter, he said he went to Twitter and was looking at local journalists in the area, which is a very, very good thing to do. A very good fact-checking habit to have.
That's where
a lot of Middle Eastern
not
news.
too long ago, things were going down in the Middle East. That's where we got our news.
Yes.
Like Benghazi, right? We got a lot of news from Twitter.
Yes, and it's what it is it's not news publications releasing tweets. It's journalists, independent most of the time too. So it's like the deep down nitty gritty shit. If people like that, if people did that stuff in the U.S., things would be a lot different with the media. I feel like.
Well, that's where you get a lot of these big YouTube guys come, like Tim Pool. That's how he got his start.
Right.
Go find a story. Go follow it.
Right. When I watched about the Beirut explosion from not the second it happened, but very shortly after, I was at my desk. I was like, taking stuff in. Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. I don't want to like sit here and try to endorse somebody or do that often, but boys and girls.
First I've heard of him.
Well, you got to go check this guy out. Agenda Free TV is the name. If you sense an agenda, bring it to me, because then I won't watch him, because I have not seen him be biased one single time, and I swear on it. Swear. To me, one of the most insightful news sources available today. Swear. I'm giving him a lot of credit. He's decently big. He's got 400 or 500 people watching him on several platforms when he when he streams and does a breaking news story. One of my favorites. Like, he really is who I go to first. He does the independent journalist thing. He does he has some sort of like mantra where when he reports something, he does it from 3 places, which is what everyone should do, which is what I do, or what I try to do, and what you've said you've done before. So my point is, somebody tried to spread misinformation that the Western media is just completely untrustable about things like this. And yeah, there are cover-ups, and yeah, there are people in the media trying to, watch out for corporate interests and things like that. These things are very real, but not everything is that. That is just not true. It's just not. Not everything is that. And that's it. That's that one. And if you got anything to say, I'd like to hear. If you have anything.
I found it.
You see that happening? Have you?
Kind of funny.
Yeah.
As soon as it's happening, as soon as people are seeing the video, already they're theorizing.
Right.
Already they're going, oh,
yes.
they're saying it's fireworks.
Yeah.
There's no way it's fireworks.
Exactly.
Fireworks. It's a bomb. Someone planted that bomb. You know what I mean? It's a terrorist attack.
Yep.
Or whatever. I don't know.
People were saying, I saw UAVs in the footage. I saw specks in the air that may be UAVs. Something fucking exploded. There's debris in the air. Like, stop. Like, even if there was a UAV, you won't be able to see it.
This is what I know. I know it wasn't a Roman candle.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Hey, you want to know something that I knew from just seeing it from the get-go? Ammonium nitrate, when it burns or is ignited or is detonated, when it's considered an explosive, red smoke, red plume, and that's what I saw. I've had training in Anniston, Alabama, with Cobra to be able to see certain things like that with certain well-known chemicals and then some nuclear stuff too. But that's the first thing I saw. So I didn't say anything because I didn't want to say it and be wrong. I'll be honest, but. Then they came and they said 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate was supposedly being stored in that port. Not like that's what did that, but that there was that there. That's on catalog being there. I don't know.
Well, that's what I figured. I was like, man, if it was fireworks, it must have been fireworks exploded,
right.
Caught something else on fire in a stockpile. That was a stockpile of something. That's what
Lebanese security has also said that that they did have a stockpile of munitions there, but then Lebanese security is kind of like a refugee-sided thing or something. I don't want to say.
Well, here's the thing: I didn't know about what was going on. First, I didn't know Beirut was a city in Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
Lebanon.
I didn't
know that.
Did you know where Lebanon was? Truly, I didn't. Had to look it up.
I can point it out on the map right now.
I can. Oh, you can't now? I can now. Hey, and you know what's crazy? It's in a crazy place. Go look where it's at. I looked where that was, and I was like, oh my God, this is not good. Go watch this. Watch what happens when you look up where it is. Because, hey, these people out here, they're not going to convince me that everybody knew where Lebanon was. Because this is a way more serious thing than people probably think, considering the location. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, it's on the coast of Syria.
Yeah, Syria, the place. That place. Oh, Syria. Oh.
Well, I was reading an article on it. And apparently they've been going through some shit.
Yes. And we don't even know.
Their prime minister was killed by a car bomb.
Oh, I thought it was jailed.
In 2015.
Right.
And then just recently, I forgot, what was it? I was reading it. Just recently, something happened with the people who did it. I can't remember exactly. All right, so this is from The Week. So, like, Lebanon is not doing great. Never mind this is from The Week. Never mind the ongoing pandemic. Well before COVID-19 was on the lips of any single person outside Wuhan, Lebanon's debt to GDP ratio was the 3rd highest in the world. The unemployment rate is over 30%. Its currency is being exchanged for American dollars in the black market at more than 4 times the official exchange.
Oh.
Half of the population lives in poverty. And of course, that's okay. So that's open to interpretation on whose poverty mark.
Right.
Prices of food and other goods have been increasing at an unsustainable rate, and there are severe shortages of fuel. Electricity works 2 or 3 hours out of the day, including on airport runways. The once praised head of the country's central bank has been caught in what essentially the state run equivalent of a Ponzi scheme. The explosion also comes as a verdict is expected in the trial of 4 men who have been accused of murdering Rafik Hariri. I hope I said that right.
Damn.
The prime minister of Lebanon, who died in a car bomb incident in 2005.
Hold on. Let me. What did it say about this is the product of that? What?
No, it says it comes as a verdict is expected.
Okay. I thought you said explosion.
And
sorry.
So these guys have been accused of murdering him in a car bomb incident.
Right.
Hariri first came to office in 1992, so he'd been in office for a while.
Right. Long time. Weird.
That's a long time.
That's a lot of shit going on, dude. And then that. Yeah. Damn. Fuck. That's awful, dude. Like that, dude. I've watched 9/11. I've watched gory shit. When I saw that, I don't know what it was. I was like, "Oh, there's people." Like, and I'm not being insensitive by saying that. That's like in my head. I was like, like in the breath that I took, a lot of people died. I don't know. It was a weird thing to watch. Weird.
Speaking of, not to get off topic or anything, this just popped in my head. 9/11. I was in 4th grade. I was in music class. Right. So I remember it was pretty early. It was like 10 something in the morning, Eastern Standard or something like that.
Yeah, real early.
So I'm in music class. Miss Sharp, my 4th grade teacher, runs down the stairs. I remember seeing her. She runs into the room like this, and she said, a plane just ran into the World Trade Center. Like, just in shock.
Yikes.
I don't even know what the World Trade Center is.
Right, me either.
Music class is canceled.
Right.
We all go upstairs, and we're all watching news all day in 4th grade.
Weird.
Same. Watching this happen. Watched the second plane hit.
Hey, wait, hold on, stop. I just want to throw mine. I'm not going to give a big story after. I'm just going to tell you. I'm sitting in the library, early in the morning. Mr. Hoskins, he's a veteran. He's our librarian. I'll never forget him. It's giving me, I swear I got goosebumps. You can't see him, but I swear I have him. He gets a phone call, and he cries hysterically on the phone. Cell phone. Just is bawling. Hangs up, goes to the door. We're all like, what the hell's happening? It was dead quiet. He goes to the door where the phone is, picks up the phone, calls somebody, hangs the phone up, picks the phone up again, pushes buttons, intercom. There's been a tragedy. He says something. I remember him saying there's been a tragedy. He hung the phone up and sat back down and just like laid his head down and cried. No other adults in the room. And then turned on the news, and then he just was sad. That's
I don't think that would happen today.
Don't either.
I think our generation especially is so desensitized to these things, just like this Beirut. Like whenever I read articles and they say things like tragedy struck, the world mourns, and all this, I'm like, no, we're not.
Right. Not true. Like, we've already, in my opinion,
already people are making memes.
Right. Yeah, that's rough.
And I'm not saying anything negative or positive about it. I'm commenting on what I see.
Right.
And it's like, we're all just like in the comments getting popcorn.
Yep.
Anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
just watching. We're already watching the shit burn because nobody's really doing anything about it. Not at all. I feel like people think they can't almost. Don't think
What do you do?
Right.
What can we do?
Well, I mean, run for office. So many of these, like, listen. So I know that it may seem stupid, but this is where I feel like a lot of people that are like, man, if the army wanted to, they'd fuck every civilian up. They could do
I hate
it.
That shit.
Me too. Because yes, they would, but that's not the point. The point is the fight. If there even fucking would be one. I'm going to tell you right now, the demeanor that I've seen out of 3%ers and people on the other side of the 3%ers, don't know what to call them. I guess we'll call it the not fucking around committee. from both of them looks. Hey, seriously, that's what the NFAC means.
Does it really?
Yes, yeah. Which I think it's fucking great. Like, I'll tell you, I'll be honest. Whenever I heard that was what that meant, I was like, all right, motherfuckers, I'm with you. But then you showed me that the other day on the panel podcast, and fuck that shit. That's extremist bullshit. He's an opportunist. He wants to be a leader, which is okay, but not in the right way. Not in the way that's right in my eyes, which is nonviolent. That's the way you should do it. If I don't know, or maybe not. Who the fuck knows? I don't think any of these mobilized peoples would fucking, dude. They would sequester themselves from the rest of society, and they would just make their own little thing and be like, "Hey, army, you want to fuck with us? You do it, we'll fuck you back." They ain't out to protect nobody, and if they are, I haven't seen a very good display of it, other than the people with them that think the same as them. They aren't patriots. And guess what? The people that are fighting for equality and the NFAC, they aren't for fucking equality. They're for equality for one race, and that's fucked. Opportunists, both of them, both sides. It's garbage. Josh Morgan, I was in 7th grade in social studies class, and still to this day don't know why they thought we as children should watch The Second Plane. We were kids that didn't fully understand. It was still shocking, but still, I didn't see that. I didn't see it live, or that I can remember.
But this is the other thing about it. I remember watching news nonstop for days with my parents, watching everyone speculate, watching them find these pristine passports, watching everything happen. Watch America
get the fuck down to it. Get down
to the community. We'll stick a boot up your ass. It's the American way type shit.
Tub of Keith.
I also remember this. I remember going outside, and this is in rural Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Going outside with our little candles in a plastic cup.
Yep.
And holding them.
Yep.
Everybody going to the gymnasium of the high school. The whole town shows up, and we're having this fucking silent vigil thing. You know, just like never in America have I ever felt camaraderie like I did in the wake of 9/11.
Agree. And we were fucking little kids. We didn't even really know what was happening, but I could fucking feel it. I swear to God.
It felt like the world had changed, bro.
Yep.
It felt like, and I'm scared too, because everyone's talking about, oh, we've here in Kentucky, there's a big stockpile of
Fort Knox.
nuclear arms or something.
Fort Knox.
Avon, you heard of Avon?
Fort Knox has the only caches of dying anthrax, dying sarin gas, dying one more. This was part of that training in Anniston. Okay, so those two things, and then what's the shit you make with the beans? Fuck, I fucking can't remember.
Oh,
Breaking Bad.
Shit from fucking Breaking Bad.
Yes,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And there are
Ricin.
Did you say ricin?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So ricin, but they have strains of this bean that are like supposedly have the capability to make ricin a lot quicker or something. In there dying as well. Dead, I guess, probably now by now. But Fort Knox is a fucking no. There's so much shit there. Like there's actually a whole branch of the army that is they're like, I guess that's their post. The civil.
Yeah. Well, I remember doing some sort of drills. I don't remember what, but basically like warning signs that if something happened, this is what would happen.
Right.
And basically, they all ended in like, we're all fucked if something happens to it.
Just try. Just like try to.
Like it's kind of like the drills where the kids get under the desk for the atomic bomb. Like, there's nothing.
Hey, here's a fun fact that I like sharing with people, and this is something that's out of the training that I have. It's a fun fact. You know why the Fallout guy does the thumb?
Oh yeah, something about the distance. If it covers your thumb, you're safe. If not, or some shit like that.
So if the fallout of a nuclear bomb, if you're far enough away you can cover up the fallout with your thumb, which is pretty fucking far. If you could,
with it extended,
yeah, yes. With it fully extended, I think it's like 13 inches or something like that. But with it fully extended, if you could cover it up, then you're safe. You can watch it. Like you can sit and stare. Well, you shouldn't stare at an atomic bomb, period, because your retinas will burn out. But you can. You're safe. Like you're Gucci. It's cool. I've always thought that was cool. I don't know. Nobody ever knows why Pit Boy's throwing his thumb up. I don't know. And got an eye open. He's always got one eye.
I always thought it was like everything's cool.
Right, like,
don't worry.
Like
you know,
50s
kinda
were
like
cool.
irony.
True, yeah. I mean, and I'm sure that the Fallout creators would probably be like, yes, we want you to think that as well, because that's a good thing to think about with that. It's kind of shitty. Okay, now listen. I have one other thing. All right.
I always take it off the rails. I'm sorry.
No,
You
you're
gotta rant,
you're
man.
good. I think we had a great conversation. I think that it was like I wrote down because I kind of like write down what the times and what we've talked about. I mean, while I was writing it, you said something about misinfo with 9/11. So I mean, it's all good. Okay. So the other day I posted something, and what it was that it was an article about Andy Bashir that I've been seeing get a lot of notoriety about the story involved in the article. What?
I was just gonna point out when Andy first started doing his afternoon talks with Kentucky, hardly anybody had anything negative to say about Andy.
Right. Hey, I'm not. Who gives a fuck? Why? Like,
Now?
sorry. Why does that matter? Go ahead. Finish your thought out, because I'm fucking being an idiot. Go ahead.
I just think it's crazy to see several months ago when we're all in this together, Kentucky,
Right.
to now,
Right.
you had like everyone was pretty much like Daddy Andy.
Yes.
Like, hey, you
Right.
know, we got a good governor. People on the right and the left. Like, I praise
People
them
all
every-
around the U.S. were praising our governor. All around the U.S.
Now, it's as divided as ever.
Right. And why? It pisses me off. Why? We have a fucking governor that got put in a seat, and he didn't know that shit was gonna happen. Listen.
I'll tell you why. I mean, because I'm kind of a harsh critic on him.
Go ahead.
At the beginning, no one knew what was going on, and we were all in this together for real. Like, whatever he
Right.
tells us to do, we'll do it.
Right.
All right, everyone was scared to death. We're buying up the toilet paper and shit. We're scared. We have someone come out and be like,
People
hey,
buying
you know,
toilet
this-
paper now are like, "Fuck you! This is stupid. I'm not
I
wearing a
knew
mask."
I knew that was
Fucking
silly. I'm like,
dumb,
dude, it's
dude.
gonna be. We're gonna have stockpiles of that shit in a month.
I just like pointing out the irony. I think it's dumb.
But so we start seeing things that just don't click. All right, people are seeing him say, "You got to wear a mask. You can't go outside." Things that just don't make any sense. You can't even go outside and be alone. Go for walks, but you can't go to a park.
I think it's
Just
just
whatever.
Hey, but listen,
And then so we're starting to look at him like, well, that don't make any sense. And then I think for a lot of people,
it makes sense to him, or he wouldn't do it.
I think for a lot of people, they were over it with things like seeing him like wearing a mask or you're killing people, and then seeing the rallies come,
Well, he doesn't say
and
that.
holding the lady's hand, an older lady's hand,
Right.
with his mask around his chin.
No,
We're like,
he's got
okay.
his mask on. He's leaned up. If you've seen something different, I'd like to see it. But what I've seen where he's holding the lady's hand, he's leaned over at the Capitol. There's all these weird
Yeah.
stages, almost it seems like. But he's leaned over one. He's holding her hand, but he's got a mask on. He had it on his face. From what I could be wrong, but I'm 90% positive I saw him with a mask on. I saw him with a mask on. I know outside of the steps that day that he went out there. You know. Like there was one day that he like went out and talked to everybody that was protesting. Yeah, that's what it was. And then some people, I remember also some people that couldn't get help getting unemployment went there and protested for that, and he just opened the fucking doors and let him in. I'm not giving him credit, but you know that's what you should do. Like you better open a fucking governor's mansion or let me in there and get my unemployment solved. That's why they're there. He did it though. I don't know. I think it's like this, man. At the beginning, people were scared and they didn't know what to expect or what to do because we just didn't. Epidemiologists didn't even know what to do and what to expect. So we followed what he said and we followed the guidelines, and people started to get weird because they were being told what to do or whatever 5-year-old bullshit. But then we started to really see truly how it wasn't affecting hospitals. Hospitals are hurting, actually. It started to seem like we did a lot of extra for nothing. And while that's facts, that's just facts. What the fuck else are you supposed to do? The other way around? Be struggling? Listen, he called for a 10 p.m. curfew yesterday, I think.
It wasn't a curfew. It was
sorry. No, hey, that was what the fucking headline said. 10 p.m. curfew.
Bars and restaurants.
Headlines. What's the headline say? I thought you were looking at the article. No, fucking headline says 10 p.m. curfew for Kentucky. That's what he says. What the headline says. Garbage. It's 10 p.m. You're right. You're exactly right. It's 10 p.m. curfew for what was it? Bars and what else? Like stores, period. Is that what it was for, Alex?
The only thing I saw was 10 p.m. for bars and restaurants serving food.
Right. Same. The headline says 10 p.m. for curfew for Kentucky. LAX 18.
Which we did for a little bit. We had a curfew, but it wasn't really enforced. Never once, because I work.
Oh, I don't think formally he ever said we have a curfew now.
I know that my work issued me a paper saying I was exempt.
That's weird. I don't know why they did that. They didn't need to. Dude, if I'm wrong, then I feel like I don't know anything about Andy Bashir. Like I didn't see that anywhere or hear that anywhere.
Yeah, unless it was for work or an emergency. I remember there for a little while. It was.
All right. I'm looking it up.
I never once saw anyone got pulled over.
Me either. I don't want to have a bunch of fucking dead air. I'm looking at it. 2 days ago, 6 hours.
But I mean, and enough said it for while you're looking that up. The biggest thing was the American people, the Kentuckians felt like there was lied to because it was 15 days to close the curve, to flatten the curve.
Right.
And then it was it.
I'm not seeing a curfew. The only curfew I see is for Louisville, and he sent the National Guard in. Andy Bashir actually sent the National Guard in, and a curfew then. I think he may have said, "Don't travel unless it's for this or that," but I don't think there was a formal curfew.
Well, we got another Kentuckian in Facebook press saying she doesn't remember a curfew either. I just know I got issued a paper saying I was exempt from an 8 p.m. curfew.
Seriously, probably for precaution, just in case it did happen. Because who the fuck knew? We didn't even know, Nothing was really finite. I'm happy with Andy Bashir. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck people expect. I don't know if they wish more people would have died. I don't really know. I don't know what the fuck people expect.
Well, and then no one's ever going to be able to be perfect enough.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I understand. Like today, it was today that he did the 10 p.m. curfew for bars and restaurants. I think it's fucking stupid. I think it's dumb. I think it's stupid because it's just not really needed now. We don't need more of that now, dude.
Well, I think now he's just trying to toe the line. He's like, I want to do something.
Agree.
Because I got to do something, but I don't.
And he does have to do something. He does. But I would feel much more safe if he announced today that he was going to take a little bit of the emergency fund that we have in Kentucky and apply it to hospitals, prep them up for if something does happen. And guess what? If nothing happens, we just got prepped up hospitals for whatever. So,
well, and we did. We had these. I mean, that was nationwide. Hospitals, boom,
right.
Cut them in half. You can't have a lot of people there.
Right.
All these, what do they call them? Things that aren't necessary.
Right.
100% necessary. If it's not necessary, get out of here. Reschedule or whatever.
Right.
And then we did that. Let's flatten the curve. Nothing's happening. Hospitals losing money.
We turned them back. Anyway. We turned them back on. I mean, we're going again. You can go get an elective procedure now.
Yeah. Well, I know my buddy just had his son in Louisville Hospital about a week ago.
Yeah.
Or so. 2 weeks ago, maybe a little bit long. I'm sorry, I should know his birthday, I guess. But he wasn't even allowed in for a little bit.
Damn.
That's what's going on. Videos of the hospital fucking empty. dead.
I think that's what's going to happen with me because I think Ashley, like we're probably looking I don't want to say the 18th is her due date. It's happening before then. I don't care what anybody says. But I've been told though that in Stanford I'm gonna be able to go. But like we really want to have this a big family thing. Like we want Cameron to be there and want us all to.
Happen.
Yeah, it's not. Cameron can't come. He's
I
gonna
know.
stay back.
They did a lot of door visits with other people.
What? Like after?
No, like when they were in the hospital, people were able to come up to the door of the room they were in and see the baby through the door and shit.
Right, yeah. That's fucking awful, man.
John Light, who owns the stream?
John Light, why? How can you fight ignorance when you ignore the chat? We're just talking. Like usually when somebody makes a point or something, we speak on it.
Well, he only gave us 30 seconds to respond anyway.
Right, true.
But no, neither. It's our thing.
It's like our,
no one really owns it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But on to the next point, we kind of got side. We got off rails, and Andy, I was just pointing out how divergent we are anymore.
The thing that I was gonna say was, and you talked about Andy Bashir, very relevant. Okay. So I shared something, and I shared something by the caption I put on it. I'm gonna go to it because I've got my fucking Facebook up because I was looking at something. Hold on. I see you saw the Caitlyn Bennett post about her being poopy poop face. I was just being stupid. Hold on. Okay. If you're sharing this without reading it and applying a political bias onto it, you're doing the citizens of this state a disservice, and you should be ashamed for spreading rhetoric that's garbage and just all around false. Don't care. That's the facts. That's how I'm going to roll with it. If you're spreading misinfo, I don't care what it's on, and you're applying a political bias before you even look into things, you're garbage. People were doing it with this article. Someone ended up I'll say his name if it pertains to it because we talked it out since. But somebody jumped on to the page and they were like, "Yo, you don't know shit about this, so keep your fucking mouth shut." I said, "Hold the fuck up, buddy. That's not what I do." I was so good to say something like this. But I was like, I look at everything and then we're gonna make the informed assumption. He was like, "Well, you don't know nothing about this. You're not like a hunter or a fisherman." I was like, "Dude, you don't have a clue what I do outside of Facebook." I'm getting into semantic shit here. Basically, though, what happened was someone thought that they knew something about some stuff, so they came in and got emotional. Okay? He got really emotional and insulted me off the bat, talking out my ass, telling me that I talk out my ass when all I do is just like talk on Facebook inside of my ass. And he's saying I'm talking out of it. I don't know what the fuck.
People don't like people who have opinions.
Well, exactly. And that's, we talked afterwards. I was like, dude, this is out of character. What the fuck's going on? Like, we're here. We can chat. Nobody's seeing what we're saying. What's up? He was just like, man, I just know a lot about this. I was like, and I don't. And I'm here to learn. I'm not learning from you today. I'm not listening to a word you have to say today. If you want to come to me another day, tomorrow, we can talk about it. I'm totally down. But today, we're friends. You insulted me. You got emotional. You need to chill. And he was like, you know what? You're right. He said, Tyler, you talk about a lot of stuff, and I see it, and I like it. And I would like to do the same thing. But he said that whenever it was something that he knew about and he applied his emotion to it, he lost the direction and just veered off. And I am so guilty of doing that shit too. Like you guys can tell on here when I'm involved in something, I start cussing. It's literally like the number one, like I say the F word a lot. It's like the number one go-to show that Tyler obviously gives a little bit of a shit about this. So really what I want to do is I want to say that somebody like me that's willing to have conversation and be open, somebody like Alex that's willing to do the same, if you act like a dumbass, because he did, and he admits it, and I'm actually saying it in jest because he said he acted like a dumbass, but if you act like a dumbass, I'm not going to just discredit you unless you want to keep insulting. Then we can go, I guess, whatever. But past that, I'm still not even open to not listening to you. Hell, by the end of that, he ended up teaching me a few things about the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife that I didn't even know. And that's what I'm here for, and that's what people like him should be here for. He specializes in knowing about that stuff, and he learned something that day, and we just had a
Okay, you're talking about
yeah. So now we can get
what
into
was
the meat of it.
Andy was no. I read an article ahead. I didn't read the article. Real quick, John Light. It varies. Right now, we're going to jump onto something about fish and wildlife in Kentucky. Something about salaries not being paid by Kentucky anymore. What was that?
I want to get this as accurate as possible because people are checking me on this. So, I asked one person. I said, "Let's do something, dude." He asked me what my take on it was. I said, "I don't have a take, but let's break this article down and let's get a take." And that was when the person jumped in. Okay. So basically, what has happened is Beshear and his administration have noted that because of COVID, there are budget decisions that need to be made that may affect certain aspects of Kentucky departments. That's literally what was told to the Department of Fish and Wildlife about this. The thing is the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife Department has a board. They've got a board with commissioners, or they've just got a board. I don't know why I say commissioners. I think it's 9 people, and then 3 people are appointed by the governor to sit on the board that are also fishermen, hunters, this, that, conservationists. The board every 2 years votes on who becomes the commissioner of the board. Let me get the guy's name.
Just some good old boys.
Yeah, they just want to be good old boys. Rich Storm is his name, by God. And Rich Storm, by the board, got voted in to be the commissioner for 2 more years. The state of Kentucky is only recognizing 1 of those years. They're like, look, we know that you guys are supposed to appoint a commissioner of the board. Let me make sure that that's the right. Yes, so he's commissioner. Okay, commissioner of the board. I just wanted to make sure that the label is right. We know you're commissioner of the board. Yes, Kentucky is going to give you your salary for being commissioner, but we're going to drop the salary for COVID. The guy was like, all right. He really didn't say anything. He says himself that he didn't say much, but other articles do say that he didn't have much to say about it. He was actually just really quiet, weirdly quiet about it. People speculated, like people that wrote the articles. Well, then, now, Beshear has to appoint 2 more people. He's 1 down. He's got 2 more to go. Those 2 people get appointed on August 14th. And the board is saying that if Kentucky's not going to recognize that next year of him being commissioner and pay him his salary for that year, then we're suing Andy Beshear and the administration because I even have the KRS, like the thing they broke.
Law.
What was it? Where the fuck's it at, man?
Chris, I think it's the first time anyone's ever designated me the calm one. I kind of like that.
Well, we're not talking about fucking conspiracies today, so that's why it's calm today. Shit, I can't find this. Like, basically, it's written in Kentucky legislature that the fucking board will appoint a commissioner every 2 years, and during those 2 years, he gets a salary from state, and that's a state law. So that's what they're gonna sue on. He's thinking. Before he appoints
sounds like pretty good grounds for suing.
It sounds like it to me too. Didn't know it.
So let me get this straight. So for the first year, we're gonna pay you. We're not paying you as much. We're cutting your salary, and then year 2, you're just not getting paid.
Right. Yes.
So the Kentucky board?
Let me throw this to you, okay? To give you because I definitely want to hear your insight, but I want to be accurate. I want to be very accurate. Kentucky is now facing an anticipated $1.1 billion shortfall for the 2021 fiscal year budget, which may require devastating cuts of 16% to 20% across state government. As the state's budgetary outlook worsens, the executive branch now has a grip. That's that. And then Jones said, okay, she said Storm received payment for his duties through June 30th, and his last paycheck was issued on July 15th. That's, last month. Jones said the administration offered only a 1-year contract because this year's state legislature approved a state budget for 1 year instead of 2 due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Okay, so okay, well that makes sense. Okay, he's not coming out and saying we ain't paying you next year or whatever. He's saying, look, we're doing a 1-year contract, and then next year we can see what's going on next year.
Hey, and it's very important to know. I want you to continue. I'm gonna shut up. It's very important to notice that his salary for the 2 years was $300,000, and I think that's 100. We can get into that in a minute because me and my wife had a very long discussion about that last night. But 300,000, split in half for the 2 years, so $150K a year. They dropped his salary at 1 to $140K a year.
Oh, 20,000 across 2 years.
Right.
Lord have mercy.
Okay, so go ahead. I'd love to hear it because I kind of feel where you're sitting, I think.
So, beyond...
Hey, stop. She just made Presley just made a SVU reference. That's fucking dope. Yes. I'll be
That's not SVU. That's X-Files, sir.
Oh, fuck. Well, there's a...
Jesus.
Listen, stop now. What's weird is there's 2 people in SVU that are like this, and what's weird is one's name is, they're not, neither of those words are his name. Go on.
You're thinking about Munch, dude.
Munch, yes. Okay, I'm an idiot, which is like nowhere near either of those words.
Todd said, haha, well, he's the Mulder to your Scully. That's okay. # balance. And he got SVU up. Shameless, man. Anyway.
Fuck it.
So my take is, and you'll see this anytime. This is why no president, no figurehead, anyone who has the budget is always going to be a bad guy. Period.
Right.
Okay? Because as soon as you appease one group, you've pissed off another. Because when you have a budget, you have $100 to spend. Okay? You got $100 to spend, and you got all these. You got education. You have agriculture. You have, just all the things. Police, everything. Special interest groups, social workers, all these things. That's all in the national budget.
Right.
State budget, city budget, however you want to do it. Okay, so if you want to increase someone else's budget, or you need to pay a debt, which never happens. Okay? Right. You don't pay the debts back.
Right.
Just get bigger.
Just get bigger. Yeah. We can pay them, but we got other debts that are getting bigger. What happens
when you cut everybody's shit and nobody gets extra? Now everybody's mad at you.
Right.
You'll never make everyone happy. So Bashir's going to have this tough job. The U.S. government's going to have this tough job of going, we accrued a lot of debt due to COVID. Accrued a lot of debt.
Yep.
Now we have to pay some of that back. We're going to have to make budget cuts across the board. Okay? Everyone's going to get mad, and everyone's going to be the bad guy.
If they
care about education.
Hey, if Trump cuts,
doesn't care about Kentucky and fish and wildlife.
Trump cuts the military, Republicans are going to get pissed, and leftists will be like, yeah,
wherever you cut it, they're going to get mad. Wherever you cut
it's a dichotomy,
and that's how the headlines will read.
Mm-hmm.
Trump doesn't give a shit about Americans, or Andy doesn't care about education. He ran on education.
Andy doesn't care about conservation. Is the this one?
Yeah, that's the one for this one. And it's going to be all this shit about they don't care because they had to cut the budget. And they'll have these big figures. In 2019, under so-and-so, the budget was XXX.
Right.
And in 2020, Andy Bashir cut that debt to blah, blah, blah. They won't add context into there.
No.
Okay? Anytime you look at a budget, you're going to get, you're getting
somebody's mad
every time.
Right, yeah. I agree. And listen, it's very important to note as well that I think that at the beginning of Bashir's tenure, he did appoint a budget, or he proposed a budget that had to do with a lot of cuts to the Department of Wildlife in the first place. So that being the precursor, people now think that he's just out to fucking shit on the Department of Wildlife. That's like, and I'm giving it a bad thing.
I think they'd like that, though, because then they can do more spotlighting and fucking jug fishing.
Check this shit out. I don't understand how this happened. the world folded in on itself. But David Green made a very it's not a right wing position. Yeah, I wish I could like play that gif of Eric from the Tim and Eric show going. Well, David said, and it was a good point. He said, "I've never understood why Kentucky doesn't have an outright wildlife department." Because this is true. The next sentence. It's always been weird to me that the wildlife department is run by the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet. This is just a good point to think about. For example, Florida has FWC, Florida Fish and Wildlife, which is ran by the state and focuses on environmental law enforcement and research. And then my department, apparently the one that he works in, the Florida DEP, Department of Environmental Protection, which is also state ran, but oversees some law enforcement, state parks, and research. But I told him, I was like, well, it sounds to me like the people that think that this is a bad thing don't want the state to have control over this. Because obviously everybody's saying that this is overreach and this is a political thing and that people are making this a political thing. I'm so fucking glad that you make me feel normal, dude. You make me feel normal. Because I was like, what are y'all talking about? It sounds to... I literally said this, but I'm going to be honest. I curbed what I said because I'm not getting attacked on my shit. There are people here that are in my comments, and any of them that, if any of them were to listen to this or whatever, I'm very, very open to having a discussion with you about this. But you guys care about this. So you automatically, well, first off, those of you that disagree on the status, don't like Andy Beshear. So there's that. There's that bias. They already don't like him because they think he's overstepped on COVID. Every single one of them. Two, they have both noted one was way more calm than the other person, and had one of the people I had a very good conversation with. The other, it was no conversation. But then number two, y'all say that you care about this a lot. It's like, what the fuck? You're like, I think they just have an emotional tie to this, and they're applying it to Andy Beshear, which they already have an emotional tie to, and they're just thinking that he's just trying to fuck shit up. Don't know.
So I'm not familiar with the Kentucky, the way we do our fishing and wildlife and stuff. So it sounds like
you want to know where the money comes from?
Well, no, I want to know how it's set up. So because it sounds like it's a non-governmental agency that's getting paid by the government.
Sounds like that to me too.
Is that the way it is?
Well, the thing, I want to know why. I'm asking the same question. I want to know why the state picks his salary, which is essentially the same question that you're asking. Like,
of course they will.
Like, why?
Well, if it's a state-run thing, of course the state will pick the salary.
Right. So then, quit bitching about the state adjusting that for COVID. Yeah, COVID wasn't a problem, but the debt from COVID is a problem. Like, that's a real thing. So that's why this is happening. Not.
Well, I mean, and no one's thinking about that. No one's thinking about. I mean, I guess we are. No one's talking about it.
We're doing it.
And no one ever has the conversation in government. No one ever sits down and goes, "Okay, guys, how are we going to pay for this?"
Like this
because guess what? You're going to have this whole flock of wah-wahs come in and go, "You care more about money than you do American lives.
Right.
Money, money, money." Well, guess what? You can't just good vibe a better time.
Right.
You can't good vibe and well wish and utopian society everything to fucking
happiness.
Make problems disappear and throw gobs of money at everything and
right.
make it. Someone has to fucking pay for it.
Great. I don't agree. It doesn't matter if I agree or not. It's facts.
Well, and I think that's the biggest divide between conservatism and liberalism. And I'm not saying one's right or the other. Well, I mean, obviously, I lean right on that. So, but I get it. I get like it doesn't matter what we have to do. We have to come together. We have to fucking do it. Yes. No matter what it costs, we have to fix this. Right. And the other side is like, okay, but we have to think about long term. We have to think about what repercussions this is going to. What are the repercussions of this? So, like with COVID, you have people saying, lay everyone off work who's not completely 100% essential. Everyone stay home. Everyone get gobs of money from the government. I should say it like that. Everyone get a good stipend from the government, take care of like they did in New Zealand or wherever else, and then we could just beat this thing in all the open. And then the right wing is saying, okay, but what about all the people that are going to die because the economy crashes?
Right. Yes. Yeah. Big thing.
Okay. And then and so you have this never-ending fight of it. Shouldn't matter how much.
Well, what about
money it
this? What about that? Bam.
You're
what?
gonna, and it's never-ending fight of.
What about
you
this?
don't care about lives and you don't understand.
Trying to apply it to character too. Trying to apply the fact that you have
Right.
to make a hard decision that's going to up. You could do anything and it will upset one and make some happy. That's just how that is. That's how politics are. That's why it's so easy to pick a side, because that's what they do. They either do something you like or something you don't. That's just how it is. Like, I saw something and I shared it. It said, very short. It said, why? I'm sorry, I'm dragging. I want to live in a world where both options for president. Fuck that. I'm changing
So,
this. I want to live in
good.
a world where
Which one's
all
better?
options for politicians are actually good, and we could argue over which one's better instead of which one's worse. But we'll never do it. Never.
No, because we'd be too focused on the negatives.
Right. And I truly really think that misery loves company, and the people that scoop up these conspiracy theories that are just fucking out, like we're talking out there. They do
Let's hit
that.
one.
They do what?
Let's hit one. Let's hit that fucking baby doll.
Yeah, we'll fucking do that in a second. But so they grab that and they're like, well, guess what? I care about fucking kids. Do you? If you know what? You're not saying the same thing about Wayfair as I am. You don't care about kids. Look at me, I'm rocking a baby right now. Wayfair, I'm taking care of this baby by sharing a Facebook post. Fucking dumb, dude.
I literally got in an internet argument back when George Floyd first died, and the Minneapolis was going crazy, and the protests were just really starting to ramp up. You know, someone called me racist because I questioned
Right.
the burning down of a Target. You know, and they said, "Well, I've got a protest to go to, unlike you." You know what I mean? And it was like, "Well, how dare you? You don't even know me or what I do."
Right.
Like, I'm not going to sit here, and I wasn't going to bring up that, like, the good I put into society or anything
Right.
like that, because you can't appease these people.
No.
It's just I'm better than you.
Hey, and plus you're humble. That's something that I like about people, and something that whenever people are humble, I want to be around those people. Like, I've done a lot of things, and I don't even, like, I've done a lot of things, and that's, I'm going to kind of touch, like, you know, the stuff for the 3D printed stuff that I did. I've done things too, and I don't like using that as leverage, because it's just not.
Well, I mean, and you shouldn't have to. Like, if you want to go
Right.
to a protest and fight for what you believe in, good, but do not use it as a grounds to make yourself superior
Right.
to other people or make your opinion more valid, because it's identity politics.
Right.
And that shit don't fly.
It's
But I
anecdotal
don't want
as
to get off
fuck.
the rails with that.
It's
but-
like super anecdotal and just makes you look like an idiot. Okay, Presley Todd has been talking with us a lot. You want to read what she just said? I haven't read it yet. It's up there.
I just say this. I think that's our favorite, my favorite viewer.
I agree. Viewer of the what week? Should we do week? We need to listen. We need to expand. We need to do some like weird stuff. I'm thinking about like some like sound stuff that we can do, like when we talk about our drinks at the beginning, like some little sound thing or like a transition or something. I don't know. It's in the works. Okay. When I ask you about your drinks, I want to know about Alex's drinks, because dude, I mean, like, I got a Dr. Pepper to fucking water. Like, we're basic, bitch, over here every time. Look, I would just have this, but you got all your shit, so I just got to get a water. I'm trying, man. I got the fucking Circle Cup. I have a mug that I'm not showing you yet. I'm going to show you next week. That's very nice. It's fucking stupid, but it's just funny. That's what I'll probably end up doing, is just buying a stupid mug every week or some shit to like match your awesomeness.
I started collecting mugs, but I was like, this is going to turn into I don't have the cabinet space for it right now.
Just gotta build cabinets, man. You gotta build cabinets. Or wait, don't you have a room full of comics? Sell the comics, bro. Buy mugs. Problem solved.
Where am I going to put them?
You put
Yeah,
'em-
but every time I sell comics, I buy more.
Well, you just gotta stop buying more comics. You just gotta buy more mugs.
Well, that's silly. That's how business works.
No, dude, you just gotta buy all the mugs, bro. I don't think you're getting it. Okay.
Every time I get a shipment of comics in, my girlfriend's like, "Don't you have enough?" I'm like, if I make $100 of comics, if I don't put $40 back into comics, I'm not going to have many comics left to sell
Right. I'm gonna get you.
at the end of the day.
I'm gonna send Alana a welcome mat that says "Hide the packages from my husband." I saw that today, like on Facebook or something.
It should hide the packages from my wife is what it should say.
Why? Cause she kick him? Be like, ugh, damn it.
No, because I'm the one who goes Amazon crazy, and like I get a package. She's like, "Is that more common?" I'm like, yeah. She's like, "Well, when was the last time you ran a show?" I said, "Shut up."
Hey, she's holding you accountable, bro. Accountability is life.
So
You want to go ahead?
Oh, so just like Preston, just like we were saying, that's what you're gonna see. That's why you always find, aside from social issues like this guy's a sexual predator or this guy's a fucking racist or whatever. When you don't have, when that's, you could have the perfect person, okay? And I'm not, don't take this as me saying this for, like Joe Jorgensen, okay? Everyone loved Joe Jorgensen. Everybody who doesn't want to vote for those two wants to vote third party. And then she said something. She came out and said something that wasn't 100% gung ho libertarian.
Right.
Libertarian.
No.
Not her now. Like they want a godsend person who fits every view they have. That's going to fix every issue. That's going to pull funding out of their ass and not take a single dollar away from anything that they hold dear, and completely defund everything they don't like. And that's the only person that they're going to vote for. And you see people, I'm not voting because I don't like any of the candidates.
Right.
Okay. And I'm not going to get into whether you're right or wrong.
Or wasting a vote or whatever.
I'm never going to tell someone what they should or shouldn't do with their vote.
Right.
If you don't feel like voting because you don't agree with the candidates, no one should tell someone, well, you have to pick one.
Right.
Okay. But I am saying that it's irresponsible and it's just crazy to think that you're going to find a candidate
It's perfect.
who is you.
If you do, great. That's weird, but okay, great.
And politics is give and take. It's give and take. So your diehard Democrats who are going to get mad when anyone votes on the other side of the aisle, or your diehard Republicans who gets mad when you vote on any side of the aisle, or these big clickbait fucking bills that come in with the headline that says, this is a bill to stop pedophilia in America, and then they throw in a crazy military budget, and they throw in trampling on civil rights, and they just throw in all these crazy things in this bill titled cancel pedophilia, and then someone votes against it, and they go, oh, this guy's a fucking pedophile.
Right, he's racist. Look at this picture of him touching his daughter.
And I'm not, and that's just anything like Green New Deal. Even if Green New Deal did make sense, okay, when they write these laws, that's what they do. Like these laws, if you've ever gone and actually researched a fucking new bill, these things are like ungodly big.
Yes. Well,
at times hundreds of pages long. Okay, and a lot of times when these politicians go to read these bills before they get to vote on them, they get a very finite amount of time to look over this bill, okay? And they have to get this whole team together to look at this bill and decide if they want to vote on it. What do you want to put into it? What do you want to take out of it? All right, bill writing is crazy. It's a crazy process, and I don't like the way it's done, but I can't think of a better alternative.
Yeah,
it's basically,
I can't either. Really.
I come up and I say, I want a bill to fund paper towels in every household in America, or something like that. And then I go, and my party's gonna be like, "Oh, okay, but we need to add this and this to it too."
Or like, hey, listen, I'll vote for that, but look, you think you can slide something in about toilet paper,
scratch my
bro?
back, scratch your back,
right,
type shit. Okay, and then you get someone who votes against something or for something that doesn't really line up with party lines because of the head title. But then you find out there was all this stuff in it. And this guy or this girl gets demonized because they did or didn't vote for a bill based on what was in that bill, but no one looks at it. And it's insanity. I'm just imploring people, if you really want to demonize a politician based on what they voted on or what they didn't vote for, become familiar with that bill that they did or did not vote for. Because chances are there's something in that bill that they disagreed with, or that their populace disagreed with. Because really, a lot of it comes down, there's some evil politicians out there, But I hope that the majority of politicians are like, look, I'm accountable to my constituents.
Right.
Okay. I'm part of several fellowships, and we have different service bodies that and I would represent groups in these. I represent groups in these service bodies, and let me tell you, when we go to vote on things, I want to go. Well, I feel this way. But I have to go. You know what? I have to go back to my constituents and see how they feel about this
Right.
and get their voice
Right.
because I'm their voice.
Have we ever had a politician that said something like that?
Well, because there's two ways of looking at this. Is what I found being in a form of government, inside a service body. So when you elect someone, you have two different ways of governance. You have turning back and saying, I'm a mouthpiece for my people. How do y'all feel about this? And then I'm just telling you how they feel. And you have this is what American politics is mostly based on. My people have elected me and trusted me to make decisions for them.
Right.
And this is how I feel. And that's mostly what American politics is.
You think that's
what
bad?
American government is based on.
Now that you've laid it out and you've kind of said it like that, I feel like that's kind of how it should be. But see, my thing is, it kind of goes back to a two-party deal. Like, if that was dissolved, maybe there's somebody that, I don't know.
There's problems with both ways of thinking. Here's what you run into, because both of them make sense. Okay,
right.
So on the one side, not left or right, but on one side you have the I'm a mouthpiece for my party and everything gets voted on. So in the system of government that I'm part of, I can't really talk about. You have these home groups, and you go up to an area, and that area goes to a region. That region goes to a world conference. Okay, so when we make decisions, at area, I mean, it can be just anything. You start making decisions where this money needs to go or that. If every time something came up that needs a decision made on, and you go back to your constituents, nothing will ever get done.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
And then when you put everything down to a vote to the basic level of constituents, you get a lot of deadlock. Okay. But whenever you say we elect people and you're our voice, then I have autonomy for my group or my state or the people that I represent, and I can vote for them, and it gets things pushed through faster.
Right.
You get less deadlock.
That's why.
So there's problems with both. So on the one hand, nothing's ever going to get done if we vote on. If me and you had to go to a polling station every time any decision was made by our city, state representatives, national representatives, nothing would ever get done.
We'd have a vote every fucking week. It'd be awful.
Yeah, and look how voting is already crazy.
And that would cost so much money. That's kind of what I was thinking, like in the back.
And then on the other side of it, we elect someone. Once you elect someone, they're in office. They're not necessarily responsible to everything that you thought they were about.
Right. At all.
So you have to put a lot of trust into one of these individuals, which is where it's understandable why people are so timid to 100% back somebody.
Right.
So you got people, just like Donald Trump.
And not even based on a platform thing, but more based on like their platform applied to the person thing. It's like,
right. How can I trust this person to make decisions for me whenever he does this?
He's a part of this platform, and he's supposed to make these. He's probably going to make somewhat around these, but how is that going to roll out?
And then you got headlines saying, well, we voted on this guy because he was strong for education.
Right.
But then whenever an education bill came up that was going to put more money into the education, he voted against it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you dig in deeper, you find out, it's because it also was putting money into this other stuff that we don't agree with.
Good example, Bevin and his fiasco with the pension bill. Fucking insane. They were trying to do, we've mentioned this before, a restructuring of the districting for water, for sewage. Mm-hmm. And at the bottom of it had teacher pensions in it. That's literally the headline of the bill. I'd look it up.
They do that all the time. They sneak things into bills under headlines that no one's going to want to vote against. And it's pretty much like strong arm because the American populace is not going to read these bills. They're just going to look at the headline.
And I'm going to tell you what, a lot of people are very critical that I'm critical of Matt Bevin. That's why. That is why.
Well,
he watched that happen and he was okay with it. That's garbage.
Well, here's my thing on Bevin. Okay. People hate Bevin for a lot of reasons, mostly justified reasons. The way he's kind of like Donald Trump in a way. He's just uncouth, and he says things without thinking.
Agree.
And he's in for a penny, in for a pound.
Right.
But
which I can overlook that stuff. Like we have a president that does that shit that I've overlooked for almost 4 years.
Bevin didn't drain the pension.
Nope.
Bevin was the guy who said, "Hey, guess what? There is no pension.
Right.
There's no money there."
Right.
You know what I mean? And then where he went after that, saying, "Well, you just need to go get a 401k or whatever."
My thing.
That was not cool.
No.
All right.
My thing.
But to blame Bevin because there's no pensions fund, go look at the past 20 governors, and you point the finger at them for using the teacher's pension as a plaything.
Past 4. That's just because I've researched it.
What?
But the past 4 governors have.
Past 4?
Yes. And like.
Which that's what Bashir's dad.
If I hear one more fucking person say that, I'm gonna lose my shit. Like Donald Trump Jr. is an idiot. Do you think I want him as my president? Fuck no. Do you think that I voted for Steve Bashir? You did. Fucking idiot. Those are the people that are like, his dad did the same shit. Well, you were around when that shit was around. So what are you talking about? Shut up. That ain't got shit to do with me.
I agree. That's kind of unfair of me to say his dad.
That's what his dad did.
He's not his father.
Who gives a fuck? He didn't do it. So why we talk about it? Idiots.
Well, to be fair though, the same, not saying you, a lot of the same people who will say something like that will go on and say that George Bush was only finishing his daddy's war.
Ruffle. True. That's true. I think the whole war thing is just a fucking money scam, anyways, as most of us do. And then some things, we're gonna like get into war here, I guess, but I don't know.
Well, there's merit. There is some merit to that line of thinking. No, Andy Bashir is not Steve Bashir. He shouldn't be held accountable for the actions of Steve Bashir to an extent. But when you think, what household was he raised in?
Oh, for fuck's sake! Good.
Okay,
fucking
we're
God.
responsible. No, because his line. Where does our way of thinking come from? From our parents, right? So there's merit to the idea that
if my dad. Okay, I'm not talking shit about my dad, but if my dad ran shit and I ran shit, black and white. And there are some things that me and my dad are the same exact person in, but in the very, very, very finite details, no. My dad, let's give an example. My dad hates AOC, hates her. I love her. I love her. You know why? You know why? Why? Hear me out. Presley said it. And she's right. She's spot on. I said from the beginning, whenever she jumped into the Senate, whenever she jumped in, I said, that woman right there, I'm gonna back her, even though she's a hardcore Democrat and an activist, a progressive at that. I'll back her if she says she's just human and she's got a lot to learn. A week passed and she said it, and I'm behind her. She said I'm human.
I like a lot of AOC, but man, I'll tell you, the first thing, I had no opinion on her really until Green New Deal. And I was like, dude, that is so out of the way.
Agree.
Like, that is just ridiculous.
Agree.
To me, it was, and of course she's like, well, you go write the Green New Deal then. You know what I mean? I'm like, look, if you want to do some good, do something plausible.
Right.
Plausible.
Hey, now where's she at? This is my favorite thing about her. Where's she at now? Nowhere. I think she learned. Yeah. I think she said.
Well, I'll tell you one of the.
Real quick, I think she
what
said.
I'd like to see more of.
Ilhan Omar, the power group. Remember when we had that whole stupid shit going on? I think she said, "Fuck that."
The freshman force.
Yeah, that's what it was. I think she said, "Fuck."
There's
that
comics
shit.
about that,
dude. There's Rule 34. There's like porn.
Oh God, there's
Rule 34.
Let's not get into that.
Rule 34.
But so I think that's people want that breath of fresh air. Okay.
Well,
Turkey's H top kick.
Yeah.
What I like to see, and let me say a couple things. First off, everyone in Kentucky who has they hate AOC or they don't hate AOC. Well, guess what? Doesn't fucking matter what you think about her, right? Because you're never going to vote for it, and most of her decisions don't.
Very true. So you can just sit there and look like an idiot if you want.
Right. Fucking AOC this, AOC that, blah blah blah. maybe AOC does this. I don't follow her. Dan Crenshaw, he all the time is going live to his constituents and saying, "Hey, guess what? This is what's going on. I'm about to go vote on this bill. This is why. This is what it looks like. This is me walking to vote." Where this, like, he's talking to them, plain Jane.
I'm human.
This is what I'm voting on, and he breaks it down. And I'd
She
like
does
to
it.
see more
She
of
does
that.
it. She does it. On Instagram.
I'd love to see more of that in Kentucky.
Agree. What's really cool is
I'd love to see Mitch McConnell just sit down with Kentuckians and be like, "Hey, look, I know everyone's saying this, but this is what's really going on." Because guess what? If you won't do something like that, I don't trust you.
I asked my mayor. This is giving me goosebumps because it's insane. I asked my fucking mayor of my 13,000 population town if he'd just sit down and have a chat with me. He said, "Just come the fuck right on up." I went into the building that I've helped pay for, and I just sat there and just had a chat. It was fucking insane. It was the weirdest shit. And I'm not saying that the mayor was cussing, but he just talked to me like a fucking normal human. I love him. I love him for that. And like, I thought that he was a little democratic, like had a little bit of progressive mind. He's just a Republican that likes the fucking arts. It's insane. And I got that out of him when I sat and talked to him. This city, dude, has like been brought to life by color. There's a guy down here that is painting on the side of this building. Every time
you're always getting these cool murals and shit.
Yes, dude. I honk at it's the same guy. I honk at him and I give him a thumbs up every time. And like, it just so happened, like, I did it the other day and it was maybe the 5th or 6th time I've ever done it. And he was like, when he saw me, because he has to know that my face, because I'm always like smiling and just giving me a thumbs up. But he like grinned and he was like, yeah, that time. I don't know. That shit is cool. It's community. He's bringing us together. And just because he talks to people. When the farmer, I'll shut up a second. When the farmer's market, the new farmer's market that he implemented, that is one of the greatest things that's hit this city. When it's open, sometimes he's just down there, just talking to people. Love it. That's so important, dude. Knowing that a politician has a butthole and and genitals as well, and is not a Kim Jong-un secret man that doesn't poop. It's good shit. Like, it's just good to know that somebody's human too, man. Don't know. Presley, you love Alan Keck? Me too. I love him.
I think we're gonna see more of that. I think in the future we're gonna see more of that.
Well, and it's weird that we haven't, where we've got information like right in front of our face.
Yeah, you'd think you'd have politicians live streaming all the time,
right?
Like, and just discussing with their constituents. This is what's going on. This is why I'm not voting for this. This is why I am, or this is why this person's wrong, or this person's right. Like, we shouldn't need the news media all the time to tell us what's going on in our state.
Right.
We should have direct from our politicians. We have a direct link to everybody in the world right here. Twitter, Facebook, whatever. There's no reason I shouldn't be getting my news straight from the horse's mouth.
Agree with you. And
but it's gonna take a little bit from the constituents as well. It's on us to find out who are my representatives.
Who's going to be open like that too? I feel like that's going to take a long time. I don't know. I don't really foresee.
I feel like if you're not willing to be that open, like Dan Crenshaw is, or it sounds like AOC is,
and I don't even.
I think got something to hide.
Dan Crenshaw has been kind of like, what the fuck am I trying to say? Like he's an
everyman, dude.
He's said things in the past that the media have convoluted and he's went viral for. Like Ben Shapiro's blown him up over something that he said that was semantic. Other people say it's the same shit. And I don't even necessarily like him. But you know what? And the reason that I don't like him is just because for a while he wrote on that. I don't think he does so much now. I don't see him in the news much anymore, because he's not making waves. Maybe the same with AOC. But he's +1 respect in my book for talking to people, man. And he's a big dude, I'm not saying Alan Keck's not a big guy. He had to have 12,000 people vote for him, but I don't know. That is a good thing. I like seeing that. It's just good. It's just good. I don't know what to say about it.
So on to
Please
so
say
there's this doll, right? I didn't know anything about it until I saw 5,000 people share it in a row. and all it said was all no context. All it said was and don't buy your kids the Trolls World Tour doll. I forget the was it Poppy?
You're right.
Poppy.
Poppy's
And
her
I was
name.
thinking, my first thing I was thinking was that blonde girl Poppy, right? You know the one I'm talking about.
I want to kill everybody.
I was like, Poppy's in Trolls World Tour? That's weird.
That would be a little funky.
So I'm trying to find some context to it, and then I finally find something.
Oh.
And so basically, the reason they tell them not to buy it is it's this conspiracy that they're trying to groom your children because of and pedophilia, because there's a little button on the bum of this Trolls doll, because and that's supposed to be them grooming because it like giggles whenever you push the button.
Yeah.
But the way it was designed was like it sits down, right? And whenever it hits its ass, when it sits down, it's supposed to giggle.
Right.
Right. And then they don't have a sensor there; they have a little button there. So when it hits, whatever. But that's everyone wants to see pedophilia everywhere. They want to see these crazy conspiracies. They want to see the alien ships come out of the sky. They want to see the military march down the street and kicking everybody's doors and putting everybody in the gulag. They want to see that. They want to see our worst fears realized.
Right. And like, man, let's get it on record. This shit is happening. The global elite, politicians, big people are involved in a sexual like some sort of trafficking ring. Human, period. Kids, who knows? We don't know. Don't act like you do. We don't know. But
well, that's what it is. We speculate so hard that it's like it must be the entire world is against. Every person who's in office is a pedophile, and they're sacrificing kids to Moloch.
I'm gonna play this video that came with it. Let me like whip it up here. Hold on, dude.
Yeah, is there an advertisement for the Poppy doll?
No. But there is a girl, like a woman, that kind of shows this. Look at this. Weird, dumb, stupid. Makes me mad, dude. Makes me so mad. All right. Okay. Here it is. Hold on. Let me mute the lo-fi for the boys. Okay, here we go.
Okay, I wanted to do a quick video because I find this disturbing and I find it something that needs to be shared. As you all know, stuff that's been going on in the world about the sex trafficking in kids and things that are thrown in our kids' faces to kind of groom them and make them kind of a little bit more oblivious to things that are really happening. So my daughter's birthday a couple days ago, and she turned 2, and she was given this gift. It's like a little Poppy doll. It's adorable. And here's the box. So she had a Poppy birthday, and so they gave her this. It's just from the new movie, The Trolls World Tour. On the box, it says giggle and sing Poppy.
God, shut up.
She's super cute. Well, I was showing her to my husband, and I heard some other sounds that I had never heard before. And if you look down here, I figured a video was the best way. So I just touched her tummy, and she's going to sing for a minute. But down here is a button right here on her privates. And if you push those, she makes these sounds.
Boop. Boop. Oh, that's sexual.
Like a gasping sound.
Oh, God.
And I know some of you may not think this is a big deal.
Yeah, it's not. You're an idiot. Sorry. So there's that. It means sex. Are you still watching it?
I am.
Sorry, I screamed right there. We're done after that because there ain't nothing else. She don't say anything pertinent to the thing. That's that.
just people want it that way.
Yes.
That's what they want.
Yes.
They want that to be a conspiracy to.
And here's what I do, okay? We're going to go back to that. Or was it? This doll has multiple. I'm trying to think of an engineering way to say this. Because when I look at things, I don't know how. A lot of people are like this. When I look at something, I'm trying to fucking find something, but I can't. Like this pen. When I look at pens like this, if I'm in a certain mindset and I'm trying to think about how it works, the whole pen comes apart and explodes. And I see every piece of this pen. Same thing happens with the lower portion of this doll to me. Boom! It all gets exploded, right? So we've got the feet. We've got these two dots. Nobody wants to... Does anybody care what the dots are? I know exactly what those are. Like, I know it. I can tell the way that I see that they move in the light. They're photoreceptors. This doll has a different mode that it gets put in, probably, when it's standing. When it's standing, you push...
Like a Furby.
Right. When it's standing and you push that button, it sings a song. When it's not standing and you push the button, it laughs because it fell. That doll knows it's not sitting right now, or that it's not standing. That doll doesn't know it's not sitting because the sitting button hasn't been pushed. Come on, man.
That's what people... And that's... It's like Ghislaine Maxwell, okay? And Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, they're about to release the documents. The world's going to come to an end, and everybody's coming out. All the pedophiles are going to come out. Guess what got released? A bunch of shit from years ago.
Right. That people are sharing again like, well, get woke!
Like it's new.
Right.
Like it's new news.
Hey, and listen, I'm not the guy to be like, I've been sharing this forever, because that's just stupid, and they're all doing it right now. I've been sharing this for 2 months now. Dude, I was sharing that shit back in blank group that I can't say that me and Alex are in. We were talking about shit like that forever ago, Ghislaine Epstein documents. We were talking about that literally 2 years ago when it happened.
Well, I mean that list that you scroll through, and you see all these Republican and Democratic, you see all these American politicians who've been arrested on some sort of sexual assault. Or,
No, stop. That's something different. That's something completely different. That list of people, all the Republicans and all of the Democrats that you see that are like, this person, child pornography. This person touched a kid and went to jail for 6 months. Blah, blah. That's shit.
That's all old shit.
That has nothing to do with the documents that were released. It has nothing to do with them.
But they're tied together. That's what I saw.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Somebody fucking posted this thing, and I'm going through, and I looked at a couple of them, like, that's like 2012.
I shared it because earlier that day I saw it, and I was like, good fucking God, what is this? So I promise on my children, I don't like doing that shit, but I'm doing it. I went through every name on that list and looked it up. Not a single one was from even 2019, bro. They were all from before. So what the hell is she telling us that for? Thank you for bringing it to light, truly. But don't try to put some spin on it like that shit's happened over Ghislaine Maxwell and COVID. And also don't try, because the way it was said was, while all of you guys been worrying about this shit, look at what this shit's happened. Like, dude, that shit happened years ago. You're an idiot. Quit trying to make it a character, like a character plaque that you wear on your chest that you compiled a list of 30 politicians that did shit with kids.
Well, I think we've watched and I hate to blame media. I'm not saying people shouldn't watch movies or television shows. That's not what I'm getting at. I think people have watched so many movies that they're waiting for the climax of today. They're waiting for today's climax. They're waiting for the documents to bust open and for 5,000 people to go to jail and this huge conspiracy to be uncovered and find out that everyone's sacrificing children to Moloch and all that shit. Like, because everything just doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense.
Then we must-
So there's got to be some like
Destroy it.
backdoor behind the
Right.
scenes zeitgeist thing happening. You know what I mean? And there are things going on over here, and there are things going over here, and there's probably a great deal of inner workings that we don't understand.
Right.
And
a lot of the things that people use are some are true. I see a lot more misinfo now than I do truth. Facts.
Is there a group of people who rule the world behind the curtains and stuff? Maybe by backdoor deals, but it all has to do with money. But let me tell you what, there's no fucking James Bond villain out there who's just trying to fucking unleash all the fucking nukes and destroy the world. That's not happening.
We know you want it to happen, but it's not happening, man. You can quit searching for nothing. Now listen, there was something that I said to somebody in the comments about that I want to say out loud. Thinking like we do, which it was a person that was like, man, I didn't think this was about sex when I saw this. I said, thinking like we do is being just as skeptical as people looking for signs in things. It's actually better. Fact checking yourself really gives you good insight, helps you learn a lot. Telling kids about sex and genitals, which I think I've heard a lot of people advocate for that, and I think it is important to be able to identify things. Telling kids about sex and genitals, coupled with parents on the overstated alert for it, will create a society that idolizes sex, in a negative way still, but still brings it up, but also just calls it the thing two people do when they like each other. People don't even get that being this tough towards it will create an environment that sets sex up to be even more bad and naughty. Tell me right now why 12-year-olds are out here engaging in consistent sexual activity. Right now. It's went lower. I don't care what anyone says. I was a kid not long ago. It's went lower and lower and lower. Sounds like if the elite wanted to make it where kids accept sex sooner, they've gotten the adults of the world to do the bidding for them. Because they just have. Everybody's talking about sex.
If you tell someone they can't do something or that they're not old enough for something, that was one of the biggest things I hated when I was a kid.
It's
so
happening.
Like The Sixth Sense came out. I remember I was in like kindergarten, first grade. I wasn't allowed to watch it.
Right.
My parents, you're not ready for that yet. Guess what it made me want to do? Watch The Sixth Sense.
Hell yeah. Sneaking. We're sneaking and watching it. We're going to put it in the VHS for 6 minutes.
Instead of just waiting for me to go to bed some night and watching The Sixth Sense without me, they're like, oh, you can't watch this movie.
Right. and then you turn into James Bond and you try to watch the movie.
Yeah. Ooh, why not? You know what I mean?
And I ain't even fucking that crazy. It's just, scary. Sixth Sense.
I still have never watched The Sixth Sense though.
Hey, you should make it a thing where you never do, because
I've
of that.
never watched it.
And you should tell.
And I just be like, no, my mom and dad said I'm not allowed to watch that movie.
Yeah. Like Elena would be like,
I'm not
hey,
old enough for Sixth Sense.
I want to really watch Sixth Sense. You want to watch it? Mom and Dad said I can't, man.
Can't watch that movie. I'm not allowed
Sorry.
to watch it. Sixth
Yes,
Sense.
definitely.
One more topic I wanted to hit because Okay, first I'm gonna tell everyone I try to really I try to watch for my I had said all that knee-jerk reactions.
Dylan's gonna roast you, bro.
I try to watch for those and question myself why I automatically feel some way. And we kind of talked about this, but we did. So there was this big Axiom interview on HBO between this guy and Donald Trump about COVID. It was a 30-minute interview. I saw a video this morning on Facebook about it. Donald Trump said there was some graphs and stuff, and this guy's been pretty critical of Trump. And I'll get into what they were talking about and all that, my views on that. But the first thing I felt was like, this guy's trying to make Trump look stupid. And not that I'm not a Trumper. All right, everyone who knows me knows that I'll call him out for being a dumbass all day. But I'm not an anti-Trumper either. I don't just hate the guy to hate the guy.
Right.
All right.
What everyone should do. Sorry.
Right. So the moment I saw it, my first reaction was like, well, they're just trying to make Trump look stupid. Because he was bringing up some pretty valid points, I felt like, and the guy was just nailing into him. And I was like, I'm not even watching this. And I said, hold the phone. Okay. Why do I want to just turn it off? Why am I said, I gotta watch. I owe it to myself to watch this whole video. Had that been a politician that I desperately didn't like, had that been Joe Biden and someone laying into him, or just I love watching the Joe Biden and the hair on my leg. Like I love that shit.
That shit was so
But
awkward.
for some reason, when they do it to Trump, I'm like, you're just beating a dead horse here.
It's like
You know
they're
what I mean? You're
it's
beating
like
a fucking dead
it's like they're
horse.
bullying him. I mean,
It's like, and that's, I feel like that's why I don't like watching, because it's like just beating a dead horse.
I never thought
Just
about
like
it
when
like
someone
that.
says something's racist, I'm like, ugh.
Right.
You know what I mean? Ugh.
Great.
Because everything's racist these
Right.
days. I'm not, and that's what I'm saying. There are racist things out there, but because everything's racist, I'm like, fuck.
Here we go again.
I don't even want to look at it.
Got to decipher on this 80% probably not racist thing.
Right. So when the moment they're trying to call Trump out for something, or Trump's looking stupid for something, I'm like, I'm not going to watch this. Okay. So I made myself watch the interview. And apart from Trump just looking like a 5-year-old with his graphs, I mean, he didn't look like he was prepared for that interview.
Right.
Which possibly I go two ways on. A lot of times when people have interviews,
Especially the fucking
They-
president.
this
Jesus.
is kind of what we're going to be discussing, so you can have your viewpoints ready.
Right.
I feel like probably if Trump goes for an interview, they're like, we got to catch this guy off.
Oh,
guard.
yeah. I'm sure.
So he didn't have the papers when he started. I'm still watching the whole interview. But whenever I watched, I'm like 10 minutes in from the start of it. The clip I watched, he's sitting there and he's got these graphs, and they're talking about COVID deaths. And the guy's like, we've got 1,000 COVID deaths a day. He just keeps repeating 1,000 or 1,200 COVID deaths a day. 1,200, that's not okay. That's not okay. And Trump is saying, yes, we have more deaths, COVID deaths, because we have more testing. And he's like, we lead the world by a crazy amount in testing.
Shoot.
I mean, just an absurd. And so when you look at COVID deaths and compare it to the amount of people tested for COVID, it's the smallest rate there is.
Right.
But whenever you compare COVID deaths to population, we're one of the top, if
Right.
not the top. I'm not very sure.
I'll-
So
I'll
those
look
are
while you're saying.
both, I feel like, very pertinent points.
Both
of
are.
view.
Yes.
Okay. But they're discrediting what Trump's trying to say, and I think that has a lot to do with it. And so my first thing is I've seen tons of videos of proof of governors coming out and saying, and healthcare workers coming out and saying, you know, these people, every death of someone who tests positive for COVID is getting labeled a COVID death.
Right.
Period. Okay, I've seen that.
Well, a lot of
So
but it's more fair to say, because this is the fairest way to say it, that a lot of the deaths, not all of them, because that's not true, but a lot of them really are being counted as COVID deaths. Truly, like they'll have like they'll have like a. I'm going to try to get it as far away from COVID as possible, but they'll have some like vein thrombosis ordeal in their ankles or something, and since COVID affects capillary density, they'll just that's COVID. Check.
right. So I think they're both pertinent, and I think it lies somewhere in the middle.
Mhm.
Okay, is America doing the best job for COVID? No,
No, we're at
You
top.
know,
We are at the
but
top.
I think
Verified.
it's very divisive. I think it's very divisive, and I think it's just, that's where you get your hardcore Trumpers from, is from constantly trying to demonize the guy, never giving the guy credit for anything.
Mhm.
Okay, so he was wanting to focus on the amount of cases. The other guy was wanting to focus on the amount of deaths. And I feel like they're both pertinent. You
They
know what I
are.
mean?
Yeah.
And I think like we just like it when 9/11 happened, we were talking earlier, we just got to have someone to fucking point the finger at and say, you're the reason things aren't going well.
Right.
And I think for what I see, a lot of America is they want to point the finger at Trump and blame him. And because Trump has been being blamed for everything since he got elected, even if it was his fault, the Trumpers aren't going to hear you because you've been crying wolf for so long.
True. It's very true.
And like I said, I haven't finished the interview. I feel like it's somewhere in the middle. Okay. I feel like a lot of it, Trump's getting blamed for things that maybe sounds like it's more of a governor's thing because it's state by state.
Right.
For instance, we already do more testing than anybody in the world.
Right.
And the guy, first thing he says is early in the interview, like they're talking and he just switches gears right there. Just bam! He said, when are we going to have same day testing for every American like we do in the White House? And I was like, first I was like, Jesus. Where did that come from?
we have
because they're just talking. He's like, "What is this happening?"
China is the only other country that has more tests than us, and it's forgive me, Jesus Christ, 28 million more tests that they've done than us, and that's the only one.
Presley, cases are related to testing, which is what Trump was trying to say. More testing equals more positive results.
Right, that's the truth. That's just how it is. And the people that are getting tested are people that are getting told maybe they need to go get tested because they've either had contact or because they have symptoms, or it's either one of those. And what's the rate? Give me the rate on how many people how many people go in. I lost my thought. Never mind. Sorry.
Oh, so Presley's saying it's apples and oranges. What they're saying.
Right.
This guy's saying we have more COVID deaths than anybody, and Trump is saying no, but look at this. So like they're talking about two different statistics that kind of don't correlate, I guess.
Or
but I feel like they do, because I feel like we're testing more people, we're going to get more COVID deaths because we're counting more deaths as COVID.
Like factually, maybe COVID. Who knows?
Our
deaths are already fucked anyways.
I don't trust, and I don't have all the, from what I've seen in the media and what I've seen people come out and say, I don't trust the death numbers. I don't trust them.
Well, Presley said deaths is certainly more relevant, and Trump wanted to ignore that. But what's he going to do about the deaths? Like, first off, they're inflated. They're this is my take, Alex. First off, they're inflated factually, facts. So some of those numbers aren't even real, and that's just the truth. That's the cold, hard truth about it. But then next, you could tell anybody the deaths all day. The thing is mitigation. It's like how do we make it not this? But then apparently the guy wanted to throw in, well, when are we going to get same day testing? We're the second. The person under us in testing, they have less than half of what we have, and we have 62 million tests total, 188,000 tests per 1 million population.
It's just, and I tell you, this is where we really got fucked as Americans. The world, I don't know. If COVID happened any other year than election year, it wouldn't be as bad as it is.
Wouldn't be as
We'd
bad.
have a better response.
Man, you're damn right on that. And everybody's like, well, it's election year, so we've got to have some sort of bad thing. This truly just happened. Like, it just.
No, I mean, we really got the shit into the stick. If it was next year, if it was the year before, it would be being handled a lot better than it is now, because everyone is so worried about how are we going to look, or how
it's almost
making the other person look bad.
It's almost,
and like I said, I'm not praising Trump here. I'm not saying he was right, wrong, or indifferent about what's going on. I will say when early he was like, we got to shut this shit down. People were calling him fucking xenophobic racist.
Agree.
All right.
Literally.
Then
travel ban.
Literally,
racist
and
again.
I've said it before on here, he could kill a baby on live television and you're going to have people praise him. He could cure AIDS, he could cure cancer, and people are still going to demonize him.
Yep.
In some people's view, he can never do right. In some people's view, he can never do wrong.
Agree.
And I feel like a lot of us are sitting here in the middle.
Well,
I feel like
some of us.
Silent majority.
Fuck, man. Silent shit. I don't even think it's a majority, dude. I'm gonna tell you right now, with the conspiracy shit popping up. See, what's cool about the conspiracy stuff that's popping up is that I'm seeing a lot of people that aren't active in talking about issues that are now active talking about issues, but they're talking about misinformation, and that makes me so sad.
And it's these echo chambers. Anytime, I mean, just look at our group. Anytime someone says something they don't agree with in a lot of these Facebook groups, or like, you see it less with people you know, but it's even gotten, like, the civility in discussion has gone way down.
Yeah.
People don't even know how to be civilly disagree with each other in discourse. If you don't agree with me, we're fighting, and you're a piece of shit, and you're a racist, or you don't know what you're talking about, you just need to shut up.
It goes quick to racist and like.
Yeah, and I'm just saying those because that's what I see a lot.
You know what was
groups,
shitty the other night? Me and my friends were on Omegle. You know what that is? Omegle. People call it.
I've heard of it. I have no idea what it is.
It's just some stupid little website where you just click a button and you get paired up with a random person with a camera and a mic and you talk to them. We do it sometimes. Like we'll just be like, like, I don't know. It's not like I say mean stuff to people, but I'm going to give you like a roast example. But I'll be
How
like,
many people do you run into? Because they used to have something like that.
chat roulette, kind of.
Chat roulette.
It's
Do
the
they
same.
do any? Do
It's
you
the same
see a
thing.
lot of people jerking off? Because that's
Oh
why I
yeah,
quit doing
there's
chat
cocks.
roulette.
There's cocks all day. It's penis. But see, you can put in like an interest or two, and that part of it is moderated, so no dicks.
that would be
Somebody told me the other night. She was like, you know what? I bet you're some dumbass Trump supporter. I don't even want to talk to you. I was like, why? Because of my accent? She was like, yeah. I was like, well, I guess our conversation's over here because I'm not really like a diehard, ignore everything he does that's bad Trump supporter, but you've got your mind made, so.
We should want to talk to people who we disagree with more.
I agree. Hey, listen, and I want to ask you how you feel about how I did that. How I was like, listen, if that's your disposition, I don't feel like we can have a fully like formal conversation. So come to me whenever you think you can kind of put that out of your head. You think that's wrong to ask of people?
I feel like that's what. Whenever someone's confronted with that, they're most like. I mean, if you're taking it as up front, you're taking it like, well, okay, that was rude. Fuck you.
Right.
Bye, I guess we're not gonna. What we should strive for, and I'm not saying this is what I would do, is what I hope I would do, is try to like, hold on, wait.
Before, kind of.
Let's talk, because I feel like you're coming at this wrong, man. You know what I mean? Like every now and again in Facebook forums, you'll have someone you really disagree with, and it starts out really hostile, and then one or both parties will come out and be like, "Hey, look, I'm sorry, I'm being rude, or I want to hear your point of view."
You made friendships like
everyone
that on
starts-
Facebook, have you?
Everyone starts being civil, and all of a sudden you're having one of the most informational conversations that you can have.
Dude, informational, intellectual, like fucking
And those
emotionally,
they start out from a place of anger.
Yep.
And then you get past that. When you can get past that, it's almost like you respect each other more,
Yes.
and you're more open to hearing what they say.
100%. Aaron Rose.
It's kind of
I'm gonna name drop her. We have argued. There's one argument that we got in. She's very. She's like a feminist a little bit, I think. She doesn't listen, but I hope she heard that she wouldn't kill me or something. But we got into kind of a discussion about that, and it was fucking heated. And this was when I was really trying to grasp myself when it comes to conversation, and she went off the fucking rails, And then when that happens, I don't just take it. I shoot back. So we shot back and forth, and now she's one of the most resourceful people that I could go to if I wanted to know like a hardcore leftist ideology or something like that. I could go to her, ask her things about North Carolina. That's where she lives. Ask her about representatives there. She's one of the better friends that I've made on Facebook just because of stuff like that. And it's great that you noted, Alex, that it came from a bad place, because don't you think that maybe something like that could come about this bad place we're in right now, societally? It's like, just have conversation, and maybe it'll just get better. Can't get worse. We don't talk as it is. The sides sit silent right now and don't talk because they just hate each other. I just feel like if we did the thing that we did, the idea that we had in making this podcast, it's so funny. Don't you find yourself thinking about fighting ignorance, like fighting off the labels of just like not looking into things and not knowing what you're talking about when you talk about it. It's fighting all that off and coming to like a middle ground. Presley here, I don't even think she's like conservative, but she's sitting here just talking to us. I think her and I even just disagreed about something with Trump. But then the last thing that she said was that she loves watching us civil discussion unbiased. And that's
and I feel like that's where a lot of people get disheartened about politics or about the social justice issue they care about and become angry or whatever it is that they want to fight for or change people's minds about or educate people on, is because it feels impossible. You can't change the world's mind. But how many times have you been, and most of us are real heavy social media users, in a discussion with someone and been like, you just type out this long message, you just go, it's not even worth it.
Yep.
And you just exit out and you don't even engage. Like, sometimes you have to do that for your own mental health.
Really?
Because it gets so frustrating. Sometimes you just have to go, I'm done today. Right?
Hey, Alex, we
And
have.
sometimes I just want to delete all these apps and just live life outdoors
Yes.
and be. But another part of me is like, man, like, how many of these conversations I have with people where I've had my mind changed? A lot. How many have, or more importantly, how many of these threads have I read that other people arguing where I've taken a lot out of it?
Right.
Okay, so that's to me what fighting ignorance is about: is removing yourself from these echo chambers. Okay, not blocking and deleting people on your Facebook because you disagree with them, or your Twitter or whatever you use.
No, bullshit.
Being open to other, not even being open to well, okay, well, I'll listen to what you have to say and contemplate it, but like just not
And
blocking it. Just don't block it. Keep people on your friends with that you wholeheartedly disagree with, and every now and then engage with them.
right,
Engage with them.
dude.
So there's a few people. I met him through you arguing with him. I don't think David Green. He's a Facebook friend. I've never met him. A couple years younger than me, so I didn't even know him at school. We're worlds apart when it comes to politics.
and him and I too.
And
Like he's
every now
out
and again,
there.
I'm jumping his stuff, and he's a trooper. He hadn't deleted me yet. And it's like,
David's
you know,
good,
those you
man.
see those memes of like those Facebook friends you have who pop out of nowhere just to disagree with you.
Right.
I'm one of them.
Right.
I'm one of
Right.
them guys.
I think he knows where it comes from. I think I would like to think that he does. Just in the fact that y'all have intellectual conversations and not just like.
Well, the
"Nah."
last one we had was about okay. So for instance, the article he shared was about Americans getting caught by Canadians crossing over to the border just to have fun, like they were fucking kayaking or fishing or something,
Right.
and they were illegally crossing over. And he was shared it, talking basically about like, you know, what if they threw you in cages or some shit like that.
Right.
And I was like, I popped out of nowhere. I was like, so you do believe in a strong border? And he was like, and we had this discussion about that. And somewhere along the way, I was like, man, why weren't you on the weekend podcast?
Right.
What I said, and he's basically his internet connection.
Dude, he's shy. He's lying about that shit, and we're gonna get him here, and I don't know what's on my finger.
But that's what we need to have more of. That's what we're hoping to do on this podcast, especially our weekend specials with a lot of people on here.
Hey,
It's like I want to be confronted with opinions I don't agree
Yes.
with. I want to discuss them. I want to hear the facts. I want to be presented with facts, and I want to change my mind, and I want to change other people's mind, and I want to keep learning, man.
right.
I don't ever want to get caught in a world like I don't ever want to be the Trumpist. I don't ever want to be the anti-Trumpist.
Me either,
I don't
dude.
ever want to be the AOC supporter, and I don't ever want to be the anti-AOC person. I want to be the person who gets informed and takes everything situationally.
And is able to go have a conversation with AOC about something you may not agree with, and then turn around and have a conversation with Trump that you may not about something he may not agree with. Dude,
For instance, I think Green New Deal is the stupidest thing I've ever seen drafted.
true.
But at the same time, I want to punch every person in the face who says go back to the bar.
Agree, 100%. And that's why I like her. That's why I love her. Actually, I like.
I want to punch every person in the face who brought up that video of her dancing on that rooftop as some sort of
Jesus Christ.
thing against her. Like
Every
she's
fucking
human and
right
went to
wing
college, and that's not cool?
every right wing figurehead out there did that shit, man.
They're
Can't
mad because they
stand
think
it.
she's hot.
Right.
They're
Hey,
mad because
and listen, I'm married, but she didn't look ugly in the video. Like it's it's obvious that that's
she's
the
a good-looking girl.
yeah. It's obvious that's
don't
what
give a shit.
that's what the thing was.
Is she
man.
a supermodel? No, but she's easy on the eyes, man.
Right, and she's a politician, so it's like, what? And she's a woman. So I feel like there's a lot of bias towards her anyways, and I don't care what anybody says. I don't know how you feel about that, but I feel like people feel like she's an easy target because she's a woman. But she, the bigger thing that I love about her is she didn't, like, there were some people, you can't tell me, I feel like you're like, some guy on the steps called her a fucking bitch last week, and she fucking
I saw
roasted his ass, and I love it. Because fuck that. Guess what that guy did? He walked out and he was ignorant when he walked outside. He just wanted to be an ass, and she roasted
But
him and held
on
him
the other
accountable.
side of it, that guy could come up groveling and wholeheartedly apologize and say how he was in the wrong and fight his own ignorance, and nothing he could do could ever redeem him.
Agree.
in most people's eyes.
Agree. But it wouldn't mind.
Because we've all had those days. We don't know where that guy. I'm not taking up for his actions.
Right.
We've all had those days because AOC represents.
It's whether
an idea.
listen, hey, it's whether or not he thinks he made a mistake or not. Is the
Yeah.
ultimate.
And he walked by her and he said, basically, "You bitch," something like that, right?
No, he yelled fucking bitch. Like I think that they had some words, they argued a little bit, disagreed. Then there was space between them, and he yelled,
I'll
"You're
tell
a
you
fucking
that.
bitch."
If that was my politician, I'd be disgraced, man.
Same. And I would actually demand that I speak to him, and I'd ask him to his fucking face why he did that shit. I'd be like, "Look, dude, I voted you in, and you did something disgraceful. Not only did you shit on somebody on the steps of Congress, but you did it to a woman." And I know that I'm bringing like traditionalist shit in there, but that's just garbage. Sorry.
Well, what state does he represent?
Don't even care or know. Don't care. I should care, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Well, one,
Maybe it's best.
That doesn't make a representation of the state that he represents. I want to say that right off.
What?
That does not make a representation of the state that he represents. Anybody who
No.
shits on the state he represents because of that, and you're going to see that. You're going to see that. Someone's going to be like, "Well, I'm from so and so."
You know,
oh, you're
AOC
from
supporter.
sexist, blah blah blah.
Right? Yeah. Texas.
or-
I just made that up. I don't know.
But I think we've covered some good ground here, man.
We have, dude. I think this has been a really good one. I think we've had a lot of good stuff here. It's been a lot. I really like the end conversation. I don't know.
One thing I'd like to touch on in the next few podcasts, and I'd like to, I don't know, maybe get a poll going, but I'd like it to not be an echo chamber. I really want to get it out there. We could discuss this at the podcast. I want to know, so viewers, please let us know, do you agree with communism? Because I'm seeing a lot of people sympathize with the idea of communism as a valid form of government. And I really want to know, I honestly want to know how many people out there want to try some form of communism.
Okay. I want to say something, but I don't want to say it like without like assuring that we could do it. But maybe we could just start up like a question at the end of every podcast, and then kind of just lead in with that at the beginning of the next one. And if anybody has stuff that they've added to it, then we could take that in and throw that up on the screen and kind of just break it down. Sounds like a good idea. I like it. Ask it formally one more time because I'm gonna clip it and I'm gonna make a video of it.
Okay. Do you agree that communism, or no, let me reword that. Do you think, no, not do that. Is communism a valid form of government? I'm trying to put the least spin on it as possible.
Right.
Is communism a valid form of government?
Okay.
So I think when you say do you think or do you agree, it automatically puts a bias on it one way or the other.
Right. Like, do you agree with
Do
it?
you think that, or do you agree? Like, do you agree with, like, so is it
Right.
just a flat out question? Is communism a valid form of government? And those are the things you got to watch for in polls. That's the things you got to watch for. Like, one of the most
True.
biased things out there. A lot of people do that political compass, my political map. That is one of the most biased things out there. The questions are loaded. Every question has a slant on it.
I don't think so, man.
Oh,
well,
absolutely.
listen.
We should go over. We should do that. We should do it together.
And have like a fighting ignorance one, like a political
We
compass
should
for
just
fighting
kind of
ignorance.
like Ben Shapiro did. Just go over it question by question, discuss each question, vote, and see where it takes us.
Okay. The reason that, and I don't want to get into this, we probably need to cut it off. I don't think that it's biased because of the way that the answers are. The answers are stupid. I think that's the stupid part. Strongly agree. Strongly disagree. Disagree. Agree. Neither. What the fuck is that? I feel like that kind of like levels out the stupidity and loadedness of the questions. I don't know.
I think the questions are just
Because I feel like when you answer the first question, it has a circle that it places on that compass, and then as you answer questions, it like cuts that down, like on severity to where you I don't know whatever. Okay, Fighting Ignorance episode 8 is done. Appreciate you guys listening. Presley, thanks for being here. Who else was here? Let's scroll. Name them. Sean
Tim
was
Wells, an old buddy, was here at the beginning. I didn't get to catch him. Joshua Morgan, Spooky Snake from Twitch, John Light from Twitch, Sean Hobbs.
Neptune's
on
my
Facebook.
Neptune's my buddy.
He's always here.
Neptune's my buddy.
Neptune 22. I see he used one of his.
He's a lol. That's a lol. Lol. We must have said something funny that he thought was funny. He lolled. I don't know.
So appreciate share it out as always. We'll talk to dead air if we had to, but it always makes it more interesting when we have viewers. And of course, it makes it feel good when we know people are listening.
Yes.
And I've never gotten a single message from anyone after the podcast disagreeing with me or showing me some evidence. So if I said anything you don't disagree with, or you want to shed more light on a subject, please hit us up. Tyler Adams, Alex Hobbs, Fighting Ignorance. Go to the Fighting Ignorance page. And you didn't do that thing on what all we stream on at the beginning, like you forget that.
Roasted. Well, to be honest, man, when I take these off, I just edit it in. But thanks everybody. Now I'm gonna say thanks, dude. Alex, I love when you say if you've got something you find that is wrong or whatever. That goes for me too, obviously, guys. But I love that you say that. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you listening again. We are currently live on YouTube, on Twitch, and on why can't I think
Facebook.
of Facebook? Jeez. So Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. Holy shit. So those are the 3 that we're live on right now. You can catch any past episodes and this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. And if you have an Android, I always mention this, use CastBox. I really like that. It's a good app. It's what I use for all my podcasts if I've got any. You good?
I found out you're getting paid.
What? Yeah, give me some money.
When you find out they paid you to say that, no.
No, I wish. I wish. All right.
Fight the good fight, ladies and gentlemen. Fight the good fight.
As always. And we'll see you guys. Thanks again for listening. Farewell. Don't speak.